皆さんすいません。更新が遅くなりました。ちゃっちゃらららちゃんちゃんらんちゃんちゃんってね、なれへんやんけって思われたと思うんですけど、すいません。今ね、3月15日の夜8時なんですけど、今から後半に流れるエピソードは、3月8日、1週間前にちゃんと撮ってたエピソードですが、ちょっと言い訳したくないんですが、どうしても、音チェックとか、BGM をつけるための編集作業とか、アップロードの作業とかの時間を確保できなくて、遅くなっちゃいました。ほんとすいません。で、もうすぐ次、今週分、これが先週分のエピソードなので、次の予定をしていたライリーのオールイングリッシュのエピソードももうまたすぐアップされるので、それで、毎週ちゃんと更新したっていうことにしてください。すいません。あともう一個、これ吹き込んでる理由があるんですけど、今回収録中にイヤホンがぶっ壊れてしまいまして、途中なんか音おかしくなってるところとか、僕の声が入ってないところとかがあったんですね。で、なるべく聞きやすくなるように、普段は台本なし英会話編集しないんですけど、今回はちょっと音詰めたりして、編集したので、ちょっとなんか不自然なところあるかもしれないんですけど、かつ、なんか、イヤホン聞こえへんみたいに言ってるところも全カットすると、なんかもうめちゃくちゃ不自然な感じになるなと思ったので、ある程度は聞こえないみたいに言ってるところも残すようにしました。なので、そこはご了承いただけたらなと思います。聞きにくかったらすいません。最近オンライン収録になってからたまに、めっちゃお互いの電波が合わなくて無言になってるみたいな時があるので、そういう時は集めたりするんですけど、基本、編集は内容とかはね、変えないんですが、今回はちょっともう切らないと、内容がおかしいなってなるくらい途切れてたところもあったので、ちょっと編集作業をさせていただきました。以上2点お知らせです。では、楽しんでお聞きください。ちゃっちゃらららちゃんちゃんちゃん。皆さん、映画のそーたです。
And I'm Riley.
Is it getting warm in Kagawa?
I haven't actually been outside yet today. It's the morning, but it seems warmer out. But yesterday it was still pretty cold, actually.
Oh, yeah, because in Osaka it's still cold, but it's March now, so the spring is coming, and I was
Yeah,
wondering, yeah,
yeah, the ume flowers have been out for a while, and I guess cherry blossoms are coming probably in a couple weeks, right? Maybe
yeah.
3 weeks or something.
Oh, that early? In 3 weeks. Yeah, makes sense. Do you have any plans for sakura tree blossoms viewing?
Yeah, actually, one of my friends is having a gender reveal party at Hanami, I guess.
How?
I don't know. He didn't tell us, but yeah, I don't know. Should be kind of interesting. I've never been to a gender reveal party before, so
Oh, using sakura?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you use sakura if it's a boy. Sakura are pink.
Ume.
So I'm not. Yeah, it's still not exactly blue, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is, but it should be fun.
うんうん。なるほど。はい、皆さん、大阪はまだ寒いんですけど、なんか急にめっちゃ暖かくなった時ありましたよね。でもその後急にすごい寒くなって、僕も今週ずっと家に引きこもってるので、あんまり外の温度分かんないはどうかなと思って聞いてました。Gender reveal って言ってましたけど、ね、性別がどっちかっていうのを、決めるパーティー、アメリカならではの、最近日本でもね、なんかインスタとかで見かけますけれども、ちょうどお花見のプランあるんですかって聞いてたら、そのお花見でジェンダーリビールパーティーをするからって言ってて、どうするんでしょうねっていう、女の子だったら桜、男の子だったら、なんでしょうね、青空とか、青いやつ、何を使うんでしょうねっていうお話をしてました。なので、もうちょっとでね、春もやってきますので、なんでしょうね、この寒さを乗り切れたらなと思います。皆さん一緒に乗り切りましょう。So, Riley, are you ready?
Yep.
そうたと
Riley no 台本なし英会話 lesson.
Oh, perfect.
Episode 304.
Yeah, it's been a while. All right, what is the topic for episode 304, Riley?
It's do English speakers care about how handwriting looks?
はい、今回のお題は、英語圏の人も字の綺麗さを ごめんなさい、もうこのままいきますよ。英語圏の人も字の綺麗さを気にするのかです。こちらのお題はちょっと僕が思いついたんですけど、聞いてみたいなと思ってたことなので、ちょっと聞かせてください。In Japan, we do care how kanji looks. And if the kanji doesn't look good, we sometimes say, oh, his handwriting is not really good. Then sometimes people might say, this person's character is not kind of organized because he or she is not writing beautifully. Then yeah, kanji or how they write kanjis represent their characters, we say in Japan. And
Right.
also, yeah, I was watching Game of Thrones recently again because yeah, I had a lot of time to stay at home. Then I was watching some scenes where people were writing. Then when I saw that, oh, like kanji, do they care about how they look? Um, yeah, this is where this idea came from. Yeah, so that is my request.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, first of all, where can we start? Mm, yeah, when you write something like English,
Uh-huh.
alphabets or something, do you care how they look?
I think it depends on what it's for. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a letter for somebody, then like yes, of course. But if it's notes for myself,
Mm-hmm.
then no, not really, to be honest. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I don't know. If someone else is supposed to read it, then yeah, we care how it looks. But I think there is a difference between something being readable or
Mm-hmm.
legible and something being like, beautiful, like looking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I think there is a difference there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then when you see someone's handwriting, do you feel, oh, this is kind of bad handwriting, or oh, this is good, like
Yeah,
this?
yeah, of course, of course.
Oh, then what makes the difference? Because, for example, in the case of kanjis, there's a kind of balance.
Yeah.
Um, then how big it is or how smooth it is, especially this part or that part. But in the case of, or when it comes to English, yeah, how, what makes the difference?
Okay, yeah. So I think probably the simplest one is like if your letters are kind of straight, like on the same line, that's important. You know, you don't want your the bottom of your R to start higher than the bottom of your A, if that makes sense. You know, you want them to kind of all be on the same level, of course.
Hmm.
And then also like the space between the letters is important. You want the space between each letter to be more or less the same or something like that, right?
Hmm.
And then I guess there's also how letters connect. So, some people write kind of a cursive style, or some people write just a half cursive where some letters connect, but that is a part of it too, if you're doing it that way, that style of writing.
Hmm. Oh, first of all, how do you guys write? I mean, um, I don't know how to call it, like the old style of handwriting
Yeah,
or
cursive.
oh,
Cursive.
cursive. Oh, see, oh, where does the word come from? Cursive.
Um, that's a good question. I think it is related to the word course, like course. Um, it kind of means to run.
Hmm.
So cursive means like letters that run together, or it runs from one letter to the next letter.
Hmm. Mm. Then, does everyone write in that way, cursive style, or
Um,
separate? What's the opposite way of saying that?
people say printing.
Printing, cursive versus printing.
Yeah, another word for cursive is script.
うんうん。script
So you could
style?
say, yeah, he writes in script or he writes in print. Um, yeah.
Okay. Then, yeah, do some people write in print? Print,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said?
of course. Yeah.
Oh.
So for me, and I think most people my age and older, we had to learn how to write cursive in school, probably
うん。
in like third grade or something when we were like 8 or something like that.
うんうん。
Um, and then so I forget if it was I forget exactly, but there was one year in school, maybe it was third grade or fourth grade or something, where the teacher made us write everything in cursive for the whole year.
うんうんうん。
But then, and certainly by the time I was in junior high school, the teachers didn't care anymore, and we could write however we wanted as long as the teacher could read it.
うん。
But so it depends. Some people probably decided to keep writing in cursive, and other people switched to print, like, yeah, normal, I
あ
guess.
ー
I say normal, but I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, print.
Which is the majority? Cursive and print?
I would say among people my age, probably print, but like if you think about older people, especially like my grandparents' age, it would be cursive.
うん。
Because I remember as a kid, my grandma would send like birthday cards, right?
うん。
Um, and then she would write a letter on the card along with, some money. Um, and the letter would always be in cursive. And I remember as a kid having a hard time reading her letters, and I needed my mom or dad to read it for me. Even, of course, I
あ
could read, I
ーう
just couldn't
ん。
read her handwriting.
Then what about the current younger generation? Do they write in that way too?
So I've heard that they don't even learn cursive in school anymore. It probably
Oh.
depends on the school,
うん。
but I've heard that it's not as common to teach cursive in school because people don't write with, a pencil and on paper
あ
anymore,
あ。
really.
うんう
It's
ん。
pretty rare nowadays. Maybe in school, maybe they still do, of course, but like in daily life, I don't I'm a teacher, so I write on paper sometimes, but like if outside of my job, I don't really.
Mm. Because in Japan too, my parents' generation, oh, they learned how to do it, cursive style. But my age or my generation, we didn't learn how to write the cursive style at all. So that's happening in the States too, and in Japan too.
Yeah, so they like
Mm.
learn that in school, how to write like kanji in cursive.
Oh, no, no, English one.
Oh, the English one. Oh, okay,
Mm.
okay. Sorry.
Oh, is there any way for, cursive kanji?
Yeah,
Like as
yeah,
in,
yeah. I can't do it, but I see it every once in a while, especially when older people write. But
uh,
basically, the idea of
mm,
cursive is you don't pick up the pen while you're writing, so
mm,
you kind of it's
mm.
almost just like one line, right?
I understand. そっか、そこから来てるのか。Everything is kind of combined and connected. That
Yeah.
is, yeah, cursive. そっか、OK です。一回ちょっと訳したいなと思うんですけど、そう、この cursive が僕、ちょっと丸みを帯びたみたいな感じで取っちゃってて、全然違う形で取っちゃってたんですけど、筆記体っていう意味ですね。そう。で、途中で、そもそも筆記体で書くのか、普通のアルファベットで書くのか、どっちなんていう疑問が浮かんで、その質問したら、クーシブは筆記体だよっていうお話で、話がつながったんですが、そう、基本的に今話聞いてると、クーシブっていうのは、音が全部、音じゃない。ごめんなさい。ちょっと、my earphones are beeping. ちょっと待って。で、音を言っちゃったんですけど、皆さんちょっと待ってくださいね。イヤホンがピーピー言ってて、これ充電切れるの合図ちゃうかな思って、どうしよう。切れたら消えたらちょっと一回またフェードアウトしちゃうかもですけど、一旦このままいきますね。違う違う、音ピーピー言ってるわ。どうしよう。Riley, can you wait for a second?
Sure.
Riley, hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me? Nope.
皆さんすいません。ちょっとイヤホン問題がありまして、バタバタしちゃってましたが、今ちょっと、戻ってますが、途中なんかおかしくなるかもしれないんですけど、またその時は言いますね。そう。で、話を聞いてると、この cursive の意味自体が、こう、文字がつながってるっていうことみたいで、そう、漢字も、こう、達筆みたいなね、 そういうニュアンスで使うんだろうなと思いました。で、そう、そもそもまず、英語で書くときにネイティブの人たちが筆記体で書くのか、アルファベットのね、分かれた形で書くのかっていうと、やっぱ世代によるっていう。で、ライリーの世代の人たちでも、どっちかっていうと、プリンツって言ってましたけど、バラバラの普通のアルファベットの方で書く人たちの方が多いって言ってたかな。でも、ライリーは筆記体で書くみたいですね。で、やっぱおじいちゃんおばあちゃんの世代ってなると、やっぱ筆記体で書く人たちも多くて、今の若い世代はもう筆記体習ったりもしないっていう、日本でもそうですよね。僕たちも筆記体習ってないんですけど、僕の親の世代は筆記体で習ってるはずなので、で、そうそう、字の綺麗さに話を戻すと、それが綺麗に見えるか見えないのかっていう点は、まずあると。で、まっすぐ書けてるかっていうところとか、あとはどれだけ、そのね、筆記体の話の場合ですけど、どんだけぐにゃってなってないか、つながってないか、あるいはバランス取れてるかっていうところは、漢字のように、あるようですね。Riley, one more time, can you say something?
Sure. Yep.
Can hear you.
Can you
どう
hear
しよ
me?
う。スピーカーを OK。どこまで話したっけ。皆さんすみません。今日ちょっとイヤホン問題がありまして、イヤホン潰れまして、そう、スピーカーでやったら、ライリー側の声も収録しちゃうっていう問題で、今、すごい面白い状態で収録してますね。パソコンめっちゃ遠くに置いて、マイクめっちゃ遠くに離して、喋るときはマイクの前、ライリーの声聞くときは、パソコンの方に移動っていうスタイル取ってますので、ちょっと変なことあるかもしれないんですけど、このまま続行させてください。そう。で、次、その字がね、綺麗に見える見えない問題のお話の部分なんですけれども、あの、どうやってその差が生まれるんだろうなと思ったんですよね。So first of all, cursive style, you said if they're, connected too much, they don't look really good. Any other, definitions or characteristics of looking good or looking bad?
Um, yeah, I mean, there's like small things that might be more a matter of like taste, like what you like in in the handwriting. It sounds kind of silly, but like some letters like I don't know, H or something, you can make the tall part taller or shorter, or like you can decide how far down the hook on your G or like Q goes. Like those kind of like small things, those are not like major, and probably your teacher in school would never say like, "Oh, make your G hook like this," as long as it's, going down, as long as it's the right shape. Um, but yeah, that's kind of something that maybe people don't really care about.
Hmm. Then if the handwriting is not looking good, like
Mm.
completely bad, what is the characteristic of it?
Yeah, that would be like the letters are like too far apart, or like rather the spacing is not even. So, the space between these two letters might be, I don't know, 1 millimeter, and the space between the next two letters might be 3 millimeters or something. That would look
Oh,
bad,
oh,
right?
I see. なるほどね。そういう違いがやっぱ英語でもあるんですね。Yeah, because I was guessing about kanji, there would be a lot of ways of, or yeah, a lot of characteristics of looking good or looking bad, because there are so many parts, even in one kanji. So I was wondering um, how English letters make a difference between looking good and looking bad. But compared to kanji, do you think not that much?
Yeah, I would say not that much. I would say
Oh.
mostly with English letters, the most important thing is how they relate to each other.
Hmm.
Like, also, it's very uncommon for people to just write one letter, you know? People do kind of
Hmm.
write one or two kanji pretty often. Like that's how shodo works. You basically just
Hmm.
write one or two kanji, right?
Hmm.
Um, but we don't really do that in English so much. So there's not so much importance about how just like one letter looks.
Hmm. Then, yeah, in English, there are not a lot of letters that we can't read at all. Because in Japanese or in kanji, that happens a lot.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. You have like a thousand, 2,000 kanji or whatever more,
Oh,
but
I mean, like handwriting. Kanjis people write. Sometimes we can't read at all. But about
oh,
English,
okay.
yeah, people can read to some extent.
Of course there are times when you can't read them, and mostly it will be because you're not, well, I guess it's probably the same in Japanese. It looks almost like it could be two or three letters,
Mhm.
you know. I'm thinking sometimes you could have a C, for example, that kind of looks like an E, or maybe it might be an O or something like that. And
Oh.
and if all of the letters look like that, then the
Mhm.
word can be difficult to read. If only one or maybe two letters is difficult to read, then you can probably guess the word
Mm.
from the other letters. Sorry, my voice just went for some reason.
It's okay. Yeah, it's like numbers. Oh, is this one, two, or one, two? Yeah, those, similarities, right?
Yeah, about a number thing. I never had this problem in America with like not being able to read numbers.
Hmm.
It's usually pretty easy, pretty simple, I think. But then I came to Japan and yes, just yesterday I went to get my number card at the city hall
Mm,
and I wrote a four in like
mm,
the way that I always write a four,
mm.
and the lady asked me to erase it and write it again.
Why?
Because the way that I write a four, and maybe about half of Americans write a four, is the, how can I explain this? You know, when you, there's kind of two parts. Well, in Japanese, it kind of makes a triangle. The way Japanese people write a four, I mean,
Mm,
there's
mm,
kind of a triangle at the top, and
mm,
then you have the one line that goes to the right
mm, mm,
usually goes through the the down line. Does that make
mm,
sense?
mm, mm.
But in America, some people, maybe most people, write it instead of a triangle, there's kind of like an open space at the top
Oh,
that you don't connect to the triangle. Does
uh-huh.
that make sense? And you
Yeah.
don't always
Mm.
and you don't always go through that down line. So you don't always have that line kind of going to the right.
Mhm.
So that's how I write it. And she was like, "Oh, maybe people can't read this." And I'm like, "What do you think it is? It's a four. It doesn't look like anything else, even in hiragana or anything like that. It looks like a four."
Mm.
But yeah, she was like, "Oh, please erase it." And also, your nine is your nine, whatever. I don't know what was wrong with my nine because I don't know the other way to write a nine. Is there another way? Like you just do a circle and a line, right? Like so.
Same as the Japanese one for nine.
I mean, I think so, but
Oh.
when she wrote it, she like wrote on top like this is this, right? She wrote it kind of like the down line was like a like at an angle. It was like kind of slanted to the left. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, about numbers, sometimes one and two are confusing if we write one like the special style, like arrow style and down part at the bottom, then that's confusing. One or two.
Yeah,
What
I
I mean.
usually don't do that. I just write the
One
one
line.
line. Yeah.
Okay. なるほど。そう、こうやってやっぱ字のお話もしてるといろいろなね、話題が出てきて面白いなと思うんですけど、なんか僕は個人的にね、漢字ってやっぱ難しいと思うんですよ。こう、バランスとか人柄とかが出たり、あとはそこに、そうそう、漢字とひらがなのコンビネーション。あれが難しいんですよ。漢字がこの大きさで、ひらがなはこの大きさでみたいな統一したりみたいな。なので文字というよりも文全体で見た時の綺麗なバランスっていうのが日本語ってすごい難しいなと思うんですよね。で、それに対して、それこそゲームオブスローンズを見てる時に手書きでね、 カラスに手紙を送らせるわけですよ。この城は私が乗っ取ったみたいな、例えば書いたってなった時に、やっぱ貴族の人たちが書いてる字なので、綺麗なのは綺麗なんですよね。で、まっすぐ書いてるし。でも、漢字ほどは、そんな特徴ない気がして、英語って。何千種類もあるわけじゃないですし、バランスもそんな難しくないんじゃないかなと思った時に、今回のトピックが浮かんで、漢字のこの綺麗さのように、英語にも綺麗、汚いってあるのかなと思って。で、まあ結果今、ライリーの聞いてると、日本語ほど、漢字ほどではないっていうことだと思うんですけど、でも、やっぱり見て、ちょっと読みにくいっていうものはあったりするっていう。でも結構読めるっていうことだったので、まあ、さっき言ってた「お」と、何だったかな、ちょっと何と何を困惑するか忘れちゃったんですけど、一瞬、ってなるときはあるけれども、基本、まあ読めるっていう、まあ、つまり漢字ってやっぱそれだけね、複雑なものが多いんですよね。で、そこで思ったのが、数字となんか似てるねと思って、英語の O が他のものに見えちゃう可能性があるってなった時に、1と2をね、なんか、そう、僕、すごい1と2、いつもこれどっちですかって聞かれること多くて、僕、特別スタイルのなんか書いちゃうんですよ。カクってして下にもう一回線引くやつの位置で。そしたら2とわけわからなくなっちゃってっていう、混乱させちゃったりするんですけど、それと似てるなと思いました。で、まあ、ライリーは4を、普通の僕たち日本人が書く4って三角形みたいな感じで、なんだろう、全部がクロスしてるような4じゃないですか。でも、アメリカンスタイルだと、説明難しいんですけど、クロスしてないやつ、交わってない、つまり、まず、三角形のとこ4って書いて、ちょっと空白開けて、突き抜けさせない形で、ピュッてした縦線引く。その4を書いたときに、区役所でちょっとこう、erase っていうのは消すって意味ですけど、訂正されたっていうお話だったので、なんか数字と英語の部分はちょっと似てたりするのかなと思いましたかね。And how about Riley? Like from your perspective, what do you think
Mhm.
about kanjis? For example, it's really difficult to have the balance, especially combination with hiraganas. Or yeah, what do you think about kanjis in terms of handwriting?
Yeah, it's really hard, I think. I'm pretty bad at it, but it's not that big of a problem because I almost never have to write. I mean, maybe just when I go to City Hall or something like that, I'll have to write my address or whatever in kanji. But um yeah, it's pretty hard. I when I study Japanese, sometimes I write, but it it's not so important because yeah, in daily life, I don't have to write kanji almost ever.
Mm-mm-mm. But when you have to write or when you had to write it, what is the tough part of kanji?
Um, yeah, that I guess it's this kind of balance word, which I don't exactly know what that means, but this idea that like the different parts of the kanji should kind of work together or something like that.
Mm.
It's kind of hard to describe, but that is hard. And then yeah, if you're writing like a full sentence, then yeah, matching it with the hiragana or something like
Mm.
that. Because my kind of my the what I want to do when I'm writing, what I feel is right is like writing the kanji bigger than the hiragana.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mm.
especially some. Well, I mean, I guess people do this in handwriting. Like e, the hiragana e is
Mm.
often much smaller than all the other letters, not
Yeah.
letters, characters, I guess.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's right. Then, in that way, English letters are kind of simple
Yeah,
compared to.
of course. Yeah, much
Uh,
simpler than kanji.
yeah. And when I saw my favorite artist, Taylor Swift's handwriting,
Yeah,
her letters were kind of unique and a little different because it was a kind of round
really.
shape.
Oh, that's kind of like girl. There's like girly handwriting. Yeah, maybe.
Ah, then a lot of girls do that.
Yeah, you should. A lot of girls, especially in like elementary school, junior high school, a lot of girls like really try to create like a girly style of writing.
Uh-huh. Oh, in Japan too. Girls do that. Then that was not, English letters characteristic. That's, female characteristic.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. なるほど。面白かったです。はい、今日のエピソードはい
かがでしたでしょうか？
いかがでしたでしょうか。そう、僕ね、もう一個思いついてたというか、このトピック考えてたのが、僕が好きなテイラー・スウィフトのいろいろね、こう、インタビューとかも毎日のように見てるんですけど、彼女がなんか手書きしてるところがあって、それを見たときに、なんかすごい独特な、あれは、筆記体じゃなかったんですけど、普通のアルファベット、プリントスタイルだったんですけど、すごいなんか文字書くなと思ったんですよね。丸みを帯びてるというか。で、今、ライリーが言ってたのが、女の子がやるやつねっていう。で、日本もそうですよね。丸字っていう、そうですね。漢字とかひらがなも、女の子が比較的書き方あるじゃないですか。あれが英語にもあるんだなと思って。つまり、なんでこの質問をしたのかっていうと、英語も、日本語が個性とか性格とかが漢字とか文字に現れ出るように、英語にもそれって出るのかなっていうのを知りたくて、あるいは綺麗汚いってあるのかなと思って今日のエピソードを作ってたんですけど、そう、漢字ほどじゃないけれども、やっぱ綺麗汚いはね、ある程度はある。でも漢字ほどじゃないっていう、意外とシンプルに書ける英語 VS、個性という意味では、やっぱりこう、ね、その人らしさは出るんだけれども、多分日本語ほどはないんでしょうね。でもこういう女性が書くような丸字スタイルっていうのは英語にもあるって聞いて、そうなんか面白いなって思いました。皆さんは漢字書くの得意ですか？英語とどっちが簡単と思いますか？ね、ちょっとそういうのもね含め教えてもらえたらなと思います。でも習字がねそれだけあるっていうのは難しい、ね、書き方とかがあるからこそ日本のその習字って存在するのかなとも思うので、なんかいろいろ、はい、僕の悩みは今、悩みじゃないな、もやもやはすっきり解消できたかなと思います。あともう一個、in なんとかで、そう、漢字で書くとかっていう時に、in 漢字とかね、さっき今日出た in print、in cursive、in こういう時に使う感覚はね、ちょっと難しいと思うんですけど、in なんとか、それこそ in English、英語で喋るみたいなね、ああいう時に in 使うので、今日のcursive、プリントも、ぜひ使いこなしていただけたらなと思います。では僕は英語のソータで調べていただくと Twitter とか YouTube とか、いろいろ出てくるかなと思います。ボイシーとかなんちゃらなんちゃら出てくると思います。Riley は Riley さんの XE で調べていただくと出てきます。I want to see you writing kanjis.
Okay, I have some in my Japanese notebook. I can take a picture and send it to you.
なるほど。So, then you can post it?
Sure. It's ugly, but yeah, I don't care.
字がそうだ、汚い。ugly も確かにいい言葉ですね。こう、なんかが良くない状態を使うときに ugly はよく使えますね。ugly clothes とかね、ちょっとダサい服とかね。はい、ぜひ使ってみてください。では、また次回のエピソードでお会いしましょう。バイ。
Bye.